Yo, what's up, everybody? Hello. Woo, what a weekend of fantasy basketball, the playoffs. We got a fantasy show coming up with me and Doc. This is a reality show right here. It is the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla. How you doing? We got 8 games to consume over the weekend. We're going to break them all down here on our show. Excited to see you all. What's up? Let's dive right in. After we tell you about our awesome sponsor, Bet Online. You should be very active with Bet Online right now. Live betting and just it's the playoffs, man. This is the good stuff. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball is in full swing, and we're into the home stretch with the NBA. The NHL playoffs have just begun, so there's a ton of ways to stay in the action. They have the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. A particular favorite of mine, by the way, with the largest selection of odds and everything from MLB, NHL, UFC, BetOnline remains the number one online source for your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. We begin. We have a little bit of a new format here for the playoffs. I want to start with a core 4. All right, it's a weekly show. It's a Monday show, so we're going to be coming off the weekend in all these games. This is the top 4 playoff stories for me. I'm not bound. I'm somewhat bound to journalism and all that kind of stuff, but I can pick and choose. It's not like, anyway, so this is sort of the world according to Kam. Playoff style. But the number one story for me, of course, it was the last game that we saw last night, is the Golden State Warriors dynasty just will not die. It is still alive and well for now, but let's give some credit here. Jimmy Butler last night was incredible again, and I start with him because he's Golden State wouldn't even be in the playoffs if they didn't trade for Jimmy Butler. It's like that. They traded for Jimmy Butler. Obviously, they're up 1-0 here in the playoffs and looking good. And I think most of us picked Golden State to beat Houston because of the lack of experience on one end and all of the experience on the other. Jimmy Butler, 25, 7, and 6, 5 steals, shot 52%, made the 3-ball, staring down Reggie Miller, and So all of that bravado, all that macho, all that playoff Jimmy stuff, we're seeing it, okay? So far, so good. And I just got to applaud what I'm seeing right now. I'll get to the other shoe dropping here in a minute. Steph Curry last night, just amazing. Again, 31 points, 6 boards, 3 assists. And I think all of us are looking at possibly the Lakers and the Warriors on a collision course for the second round. They got a lot of work to do, especially the Lakers with the Wolves. But Steph handled his business last night in Houston. LeBron, love him, but he did not handle his business Saturday night at home against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Did not handle his business. Steph did. Made 12 of 19 shots, banged 5 threes, had an unbelievably amazing shot on the sideline over Jalen Green. And this has been the case for a while. Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler are up there with the top duos in the game. We talk core 4s and big 3s and duos, and I'm not going to sort it out and rank it and all that. Every night they're putting up fat stat lines. They're winning almost every game. What did they say last night? The Warriors were 17-3, I believe Kevin Harlan said, with the starting 5 of Green, Butler, Curry, Moody, and Podziemski. 17-3, something ridiculous like that. We know they basically printed wins since Jimmy Butler got there. So I give them credit, man. And experience prevailed in game 1. Curry, Butler, Green, been there, done that. Green trying to mind game, Şengün and all this kind. Şengün did catch him, didn't he? Şengün caught a little body to body with Draymond Green. How'd that pack feel? That was tasty. I like that a lot. And Şengün is ready for all the smoke. Are his teammates? Not last night, they weren't. Jalen Green, and I love the young fella. I do. He had that look last night, guys. He had that look. I did an interview with VSiN on Saturday morning, and they were asking me about the Pistons and the Knicks. And I said, I need a lot of cutaways by the network into the eyes of the Pistons, okay? Because of the experience. Do we get a deer in headlights situation, that kind of thing? And the same thing with Houston. Like, I don't need all kinds of cutaways to Draymond and Curry. Like, they're four-time champs, right? I'm talking about the young fellas who've never been here before. I want to plug into that. And especially, like, for betting and stuff, like, gauging body language is huge, okay? Have they given up? Have they let go of the rope? Is there frustration setting in? All that kind of stuff really, really matters. And so for Jalen Green, I saw the deer in headlights look last night. I did. And it's his first playoff game. I'm not mad at him. This isn't even criticism. It's just an observation. And he may come out in the next game and have 25 and restore order here, okay? But as they mentioned last night on the broadcast, and we have been living and witnessing, he has not been playing well lately, but he's a hot, cold guy. He's a home run hitter. I mean, he'll go a month with 15 dingers. He'll go a month with 3 dingers, okay? So, but he's got to hit that heater here, and it's got to be in game 2. Tough playoff, tough playoff debut for him. Tough playoff debut for Amen Thompson. And he has a lot on his plate defensively, and he'll figure it out as well. But that's why in these first games, you know, Detroit, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but they showed their inexperience in that game 1 loss to the New York Knicks. Now, I almost went to Twitter with this last night, and I don't know why. Maybe laziness, maybe another thought bubble hit, and I moved on to the next thing. But Fred VanVleet, we got to have a Fred VanVleet conversation, guys. Bro, where's your game? Where are you? Are you still an NBA player? Think about Fred VanVleet, guys. Think about Freddie V. FVV, champion, has been a near all-star. He's on a max contract with Houston right now. I've been saying for a while, bye. I'm just watching him all year. He really wasn't that great last year. He's all right. Wasn't great last year either. This year it's been, boom, bottomed out. This is not what you do in a contract year. And if I'm the team that has the option, bye. Like, why bring back FEV? He's in the way right now, in the way of Amen, in the way of Reed Shepard. You say, well, you need vets if you're going to win them. Do you guys think the Rockets right now are beating the Golden State Warriors? No, this is a slow build, an organic build for Houston. And they might bundle and go get Kevin Durant and make a huge mistake in the offseason. I sincerely hope they do not do that. But it's time to say goodbye to Fred VanVleet, okay? With love. I mean, I do like the player. I do. But his game is dilapidating right now. He is like twilighting before 4 of 19, 2 of 13. And, bro, he's playing no defense. He's not making his teammates better with dime time. It's just chucking horrible shots. Think about if you just extract the Fred VanVleet game from that game last night. Houston lost by 10, right? Okay, I'm just saying, man, they would have been better having a defensive player out there taking no shots and dispersing the shots to all the other guys. That was pathetic. Ime Udoka is not going to make an adjustment and all this kind of stuff, but he should yank some playing time away from FVV if he's playing like that. Literally, that loss is at his feet because I can't blame Jalen Green. Jalen Green, it's his first playoff game against the best defensive team in the league since Jimmy Butler got there. And he had a bad game. That's all very predictable stuff. Fred VanVleet, bro. By the way, this is not a ring run for the Warriors. If they beat Houston, and they probably will, it's either Minnesota or the Lakers in the second round, Elville. I am not on this Golden State thing. They're beating a playoff neophyte right now. Please work that into your computations and into your narrative. That they're not beating, the 84 Celtics or the 85 Lakers. This is the 25 Rockets in their first playoff series together. And if Golden State makes the conference finals somehow, some way, they will lose to Oklahoma City. Number 2 in my core 4 is the Lakers loss and the Timberwolves win from Saturday night. And I'm going to ask Mitch Lawrence this as well. We've got the great Mitch Lawrence, longtime NBA reporter and radio star over at NBA Radio and Mad Dog Radio. We'll have him on in about 10 minutes here, my buddy, Mitch Lawrence. Looking forward to that. I'm going to ask him, were the Lakers that bad or the Wolves that good? And I'm going to give you my answer now. The Lakers were that bad. And I'm a Wolves fan. I want to give them credit and all this, but I'm an analyst and I'm objective. LeBron was going through the motions out there. I barely felt him at all. And I hearken back to all of the press conferences I covered over all the years with NBA TV. And a LeBron team loses a game one. And you get him after the game, and he's talking, well, it's the feeling out process, like a heavyweight fight, right? You get in there in the first round, and you kind of feel him out. You learn the opponent, and then you adjust and come back. Like, I've heard it 1,000 times. And I felt it during game one. I just felt it with body language, with the lack of force. Like, oh, this is one of those LeBron, go through them all, feel them out, and we'll get them in game two, blah, blah, blah. I'm not mad at LeBron. Again, just making an observation. That's what I saw. That's what I felt on Saturday. And it obviously wasn't even close to good enough. Luka was great on one end. He had 37, made a bunch of shots. He had the killer buzzer beater and all that. By the way, what was at the end of the third quarter? Makes the buzzer beater, I think took the lead to 16, and like no vibe at all. Nobody up, like, yeah, Luka, way to go. We're still in this thing. Like Austin, and I'm not mad at anybody. Austin Reeves came over, gave him a little side five, and like it was just like, all right, just Luka made a incredible miracle shot right there, kind of breathed life into us going into a quarter, and there was no vibe at all. And then, of course, they just died in the fourth quarter, very predictably based on those optics. Reeves and Rui sucked. They combined to shoot 8 of 22. That's got to change. The Lakers bench, 13 points. And guys, 5 of those 13 points by Dalton Connect, who's not even in the rotation. He got those points in garbage time, okay? So I've been saying this and screaming this. You've got to get Connect into the flow and into the rotation. 15 minutes, 18 minutes. I'm not saying he should start. You need scoring off of your bench. You need shooting off of your bench. Finney Smith hits you sometimes, and then the next 2 games he doesn't, okay? He's a bench player. What they do. The Lakers had 95 points on 39% shooting. That's gross. The Wolves are really talented. They played really well in this game. I think they're more dangerous than their regular season performance indicates because of how well they're built. With the stud 8 core, when you go to Reed and Dante and NAW off the bench and all that kind of stuff, then obviously a really good starting 5. The Wolves made 21 threes on 50% shooting as the Lakers just stood and watched, okay? I mean, it was bam, bam, bam. The Lakers are like, well, we'll just give you that. What are you doing? Get up on these dudes. Contest these shots, okay? 21 made threes on 50%. Again, give the Wolves credit, but I thought the Lakers' defense was god-awful. There were several Wolves who did not play great in this game, which is very encouraging for the Wolves moving forward in this series. Gobert didn't fire. Dante didn't fire. Randall kind of did, but not really. And Ant-Man, frankly, didn't have that great of a game. He made shots in the second half and taunted Luka. That was awesome. I can't wait to talk with Dr. A about Ant-Man taunting Luka, his boy. Ooh, I can't wait for that. That's coming up at noon, by the way, Fantasy NBA Today with me and Doc. Did the Lakers think this was going to be easy? Were the Lakers looking ahead to the Warriors in round 2? Yo, Lakers, yo, you got a fight on your hands right now. You got, boom, punched right in the nose, and you back down. What you going to do in game 2 Tuesday night? Ding, ding, I can't wait. Guys, number 3, is Denver and the Clippers the best first-round series? It's either that one or Lakers and Wolves for me. But I got to give it to Nugs and Clips right now. Awesome theater on Saturday. It was the Russell Westbrook Bowl. We were talking about this. I just didn't know he was going to get the minutes. And David Adelman gave him the minutes over Michael Porter Jr. Ooh, and I'll get to that in Rick's rant. But Russell Westbrook said, I just know that inbounds play from being with the Clippers the last couple of seasons. The play where they inbounded the ball to James Harden. Westbrook came over and tipped it, went off the hand or fingers of Harden, out of bounds, game over, okay? How about that? From the know-how he gained from being a Clipper. He sniffed out that play. Super cool. Jokic was good for him. I mean, great by usual standards. Gordon was fantastic with 25. James Harden was really good. But like I said, games 1, 2, 3, and 4. You will get Harden games. You will. Saturday, he had 32, 6, and 11. It was absolutely fantastic. Okay? Efficient, making big shots. He had that turnover, but that's like more on Russ making a great play than it is on Harden. I mean, Harden's there, tips off his hand, like, what are you going to do? It's a great defensive play. I don't look at that, Harden choked on that. He didn't, okay? Choking is about decision-making. It's about shot-making or lack thereof. It's not a choke job. The choke job is coming. Games 5, 6, and 7 from James Harden. He's probably going to be really good the next Well, I think he may come down a little bit in game 2 off of a 32, but the book on him is you get him to 5, 6, and 7, and that's when he craters. Not usually before that. And then number 4 here at our core 4 is the New York Knicks winning round 1 of the Experience Bowl. This was a fun game. You really kind of didn't know what was going to happen. Detroit is hanging. You had THJ playing well. You had Tobias Harris playing well. Malik Beasley playing well. And you're like, can they extend this and breathe life into this? And then the Cade Cunninghams, the Oscar Thompsons, the Jalen Durns, then they're going to kind of join the fight. Well, they never got all together doing it on the same page. That was a problem. That's inexperience. Duran was in foul trouble. Oscar Thompson was in foul trouble. Cade Cunningham had a poor first half, trying to figure out the Tibbs defense. All normal stuff. Not mad about any of it, okay? The vets were absolutely fantastic, but Detroit's got to finish what they started. They fell apart in the fourth quarter. They got beat 40-21 in the fourth quarter. We all know about the 21-0 run for the New York Knicks. Huge lesson for the Pistons. They kind of let go of the rope a little bit. And kind of got lost in the swell at Madison Square Garden. Again, all normal stuff. They've never been in a playoff game or series with this group together, and you're going to take some hits, and you're going to lose some games, and you're going to learn from it. All completely normal. Shout out to my boy, Jalen Brunson. As clutch as they come, 34 points after a really slow start. Just bucket, 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 bucket. I love Jalen Brunson. OG Anunoby kept it rolling. I mean, in fantasy, he was a league winner down the stretch, man. All the big games, 23 more on Saturday as Mikal Bridges shrinks a little bit and OG Anunoby continues to expand. And Cal was just solid, 23, 11, and 5. Going to be a really good series, I think. And I can't wait for Monday night's game 2 between the Pistons and the Knicks. And your wait is over. My wait is over. It is time to bring on my boy, Mitch Lawrence. He's with SiriusXM NBA Radio. He's with Mad Dog Radio. There's my boy. There's my boy, Mitch Lawrence. What's happening, man?
Look at you, man. You're doing great. You didn't mention campaign in the fourth quarter for the Knicks. How about the job he did with those 11 points? Boy, oh boy, it's great to see you. Great to talk. You're looking great. Great show. Let's get going here. I'm all ready.
That's my guy. Hey, Mitch, tell him our mantra that we used to say before every SiriusXM NBA radio show. What was our mantra?
We never we never do a show that drags. You're talking about that? I don't believe
we never do a show that drags. Man.
Never do a show. We got the quickest 3 hours going here, baby. Right?
Worked
a lot of great shows with you over the years. A lot of great playoff shows. No great play-in shows. The play-ins are terrible. The Rick Kamla Invitational, as I called it. We survived another one. Congratulations.
In Miami, I won't even go back to it. Mitch is not a play-in tournament fan. I am. He calls it the Rick Kamla Invitational. It's a hilarious inside joke. Actually, it's not an inside joke. It's an outside joke. It is for the world to feast on and enjoy. All right, Mitch. So I didn't mention campaign because actually I've got a bit coming up later in the show. And I'm going to bring in my buddy.
Hey, it's Shaquille O'Neal. Mitch Lawrence, how you doing, dude? I'll just wait over here on stage.
So I'm going to bring in Shaq. I got throughout the playoffs. I'm going to do a bit, Mitch. The most valuable other, the MVO. And Shaq always talked about the other.
Yeah, the others.
Win a ring without the others.
So campaign is in the running for the first other award or the first MVO thing. So that's why I didn't get to him. All right, Mitch. Let's go back to last night. And I'm gonna circle back here to the Knicks with you, man. But in terms of last night, you had Golden State beating Houston. And now that the Warriors have game 1 and we saw how it happened, we saw the inexperience, Jalen Green, all this stuff, do you give the Rockets a chance of winning this series?
No, I don't. I think it's going to be very, very difficult. You saw last night they score 85 points. I mean, but going into the series, I thought they were going to have a struggle at the offensive end. And everybody's talking about, they're going to shut down Steph Curry. They're going to do this to Jimmy Butler. What happened in game 1? Man, they took a blow right to the face. Both those guys were awesome. I mean, those guys now, I don't know how deep Golden State's going to go, but I knew going in, this was a perfect matchup for Golden State. They've got the two veteran playoff warhorses and Draymond Green and Steve Kerr going against a team that, hey, give Ime Udoka and all those guys all the credit in the world. Number 2 seed, who saw that coming in the West? But now you've got a bad matchup in the first round. This is a very tough matchup for Houston. There are better days ahead for them down the road, couple of years, whatever. But no, they're going to struggle at the offensive end, and I don't think they're going to stop Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry. And there's going to be a game where both those guys go to the line about 25 times, and it's going to drive Ime Udoka nuts. So no, I didn't expect the Rockets to win. I thought Golden State was going to be in the driver's seat from the start, and this is a great position for them to be in, avoiding Oklahoma City as long as they can. Because what we learned yesterday was, yeah, Oklahoma City is pretty damn good. I mean, Memphis got no shot. So, yeah, I love the Warriors in this, and it's great to see Steph Curry in another playoff situation, this time with Jimmy Butler. And, the great thing about that trade is they played, almost 30 games together by now. So it's not like they're just learning how it all works. And you got Draymond, who's already ornery, picking on Şengün. It's all this great stuff. So, yeah, Golden State's in the driver's seat for sure.
Yeah, my boy Şengün got a nice pack on Draymond Green. I did enjoy that. So, Mitch, I talked about this. I want to now ask you this. Were the Lakers that bad or the Wolves that good on Saturday night?
I was stunned by how bad defensively. Now, I know the Lakers aren't Oklahoma City defensively, but damn, can you give any type of effort on the defensive end and get into those guys and make them work for every shot? The amazing thing is, and I don't want to kill LeBron James here, but he's the leader of the pack when it comes to the Lakers. And it's like, how is this happening to a LeBron James team? And I know the Lakers have flaws defensively, and Luka's, awful defensively. And even LeBron can be tested now because he's so old and everything, and you worry about that groin. But, boy, the Lakers, wow. Minnesota, you gave the shooting statistics earlier while I was in the green room over there. And I'm telling you, Minnesota played lights out offensively, but they didn't really have to work hard for anything. There was no contesting, no challenging, no fight. Where was the Laker defensive fight? I don't know if the Lakers have a lot of defensive fight, because I think we all think going into playoffs, they're going to live and die with those three men on that offense. They got three tremendous offensive players, obviously LeBron James, obviously Luka, and, Austin Reeves is a third option. But, boy, I tell you, this is going to be, and you know what, to me going in, Rick, I know who you picked. I kind of picked the Lakers here just because of the home court, just because I didn't know how Minnesota was going to do Ant-Man, all that stuff after last year. I thought they kind of regressed a little bit without Karl Anthony. Now, I know Karl Anthony Towns. I know this year, the last, third of the season, they've been lights out, and they've been playing great, and Julius Randle's finally figured things out, and they're a little deeper than last year. But I was wondering, can they have a second big offensive option without Karl Anthony Towns? We'll see. Maybe that's down the line. But look, winning game one the way they did on the road, and there's, the other thing about the Lakers, they don't really have a home court, do they? They don't have a big home court edge. It never gets as raucous as the Garden or Indiana or Oklahoma City. They were no factor to the crowd the other night. And I'm not blaming them because the Lakers were terrible. But think about it that way, too. They sat back there. They were oohing and on over Ant-Man and all the guys who were just making all these shots left and right. Lakers got to pick it up. J.J. Redick was right. Physically, they were no match at all the other night. Physically, big disappointment. Huge playoff opening loss.
I agree with everything you said right there. The problem with the puzzle pieces in this series for the Lakers, yes, they have, 75 points a night or whatever from Luka, LeBron, and Reeves. 60, 65, 70, some big number, right? The majority of their scoring. But when you have Ant-Man, Jaden McDaniels, Rudy Gobert to a degree, but the perimeter guys that can take a bite out of those guys, it's going to make it that much tougher. And the Wolves have 8 dudes that can hurt you. The Lakers have, 5? I'm not a huge Rui Hachimura guy, and he certainly didn't hurt Minnesota on Saturday night. So I think, Mitch, a little bit of it was the Lakers kind of thought it was going to be easier than it was, and they got punched in the mouth. And now I literally can't wait to see the response on Tuesday night, because the Minnesota Timberwolves, Mitch, after last year, West Finals, all that, I don't think they're like, we just got one. Let's go back to Minnesota at 1-1. I don't feel that, especially from Ant-Man, who I believe is positioned to have an explosive game 2 after a pretty subpar overall game 1. Second half, he was really good, but the first half, he wasn't. But I think that sets up for Minnesota could just go in for the kill here, go up 2-0, heading back to Minnesota. I think the Lakers are in a really dangerous spot. All right.
Thin ice. They are on thin ice. I agree with you totally. Because you know what? Minnesota has now been through a lot of playoff wars. I know it's not the same teams last year, but a lot of those guys have been through a lot of playoff wars. And the other thing, too, is they know, having been up against great players, when you're going into a game against LeBron and Luka, you're not, you're already, you got your back. I mean, your backbone. You are ready. You got to be ready defensively, right? So they know going in, it's different for the Knicks. The Knicks are looking at the Pistons going, we got game 1. What are these guys going to do offensively to really challenge us when we got the upper hand? I think Minnesota looks at the Lakers as, we got to take care of business right away and get them down right away to plant a little doubt. Because the Lakers this team hasn't been together, because obviously the big piece is Luka. So they don't know about playoff stuff with them. So I think Minnesota, being a veteran playoff team, is going to help that a lot. And Chris Finch, he won't have to get their attention in terms of, hey, this is what we got to do defensively. They already know going in, these 3 guys can beat us, and they'll be ready for the test.
The great Mitch Lawrence hanging out with Rick Kamla here on the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla, legendary reporter, writer, analyst of the NBA for many, many years. Mitch, I want to make you laugh here real quick. You know that, it used to be my Wolves, my Wolves, my Wolves. And because Glenn Taylor ruined all that for me, okay? And so I divested emotionally, became not a Wolves fan. And it was all contingent on Glenn Taylor. Glenn Taylor is out. Alex Rodriguez and Mark Lowry are in. Mitch, I'm a Timberwolves fan again. I got the pom-poms. I'm psyched. And I wanted to let you know, I want to put the flag in the mountain. It was before they beat the Lakers. Andre Lemouche could be my witness here. I said this, but the day that Glenn Taylor, that the announcement came, I said, I'm a Wolves fan again, because Glenn Taylor, I mean, outside of the Sarvers and the Sterlings, who are a completely different bag of POS, okay, Glenn Taylor's just been an awful owner, decision-wise, trusting the wrong guys, blah, blah, blah. So I'm back. I'm a Wolves fan again.
Congratulations. At least you're not rooting for the Mavericks. I'm sitting down here in the DFW area. You talk about a hated front office and a hated owner. I mean, and it never ends. I mean, you saw the press conference the other day. Nico Harrison, I guess he's got one today, Rick. I mean,
what?
Now, for people who don't know me.
He already has more press conferences than Leon Rose in his entire Knicks career. Right?
That I know, which I pointed out to people down here. Nick beat writers are still waiting for Leon Rose. Well, I started to cover the Mavericks. It was either their 7th or 8th year back in the 80s, and they were popular then. And they got enormously popular after Mark Cuban bought the team, brought in Dirk Nowitzki, Don Nelson's there. I mean, they had their run, they had their championship, and Maverick fans are among the most loyal. They love this team to death. And with this Luka trade, I'm telling you, there are so many angry, furious, irate Maverick fans, and Maverick fans who are now becoming Laker fans, of all things, because of Luka, that I don't know what this ownership's going to do to get back in the good graces of these people, because, when fans get alienated and they've got their guy, Luka Doncic, and you trade him and you didn't get nearly enough. I mean, you got Anthony Davis, who's hurt a lot. He got hurt in the last game out there. By the way, 77 days after they traded Luka, they went out in flames against Memphis. How you like that? How you like that?
Numerology.
Numerology,
Wow.
right. So,
Wow.
I mean, it is an amazing thing to see. I'm glad you brought up your love again for Minnesota. We all know the problem. And thank God the league finally got that thing ironed out with the ownership change. I mean, that was just dragging on and on and on. But now the big problem is, what is Adam Silver going to do about the Mavericks? Because, man, it is crazy down here. I've never seen anything like it. And I'm telling you, the PR mistakes and missteps by this Maverick organization now, it's becoming legendary, and not in a good way.
Mitch Lawrence throwing it down, baby. So what Adam Silver needs to do is bring the DeMont family up to New York, bring the Ishbia family up to New York. They all of us sit down in a powwow. They go to Adam's favorite lunch spot. They go back to the office, grind it out. They go back to Adam's favorite dinner spot. Boom, Kevin Durant goes to the Dallas Mavericks. I'm not saying I want it or I'm lusting for it. I'm just saying, you ask, what can this team do to if they got Kevin Durant, I think that with Kyrie, with Anthony Davis, I think that would go a long way towards rekindling that connection between the fan base, it would get me kind of mildly excited about the Mavs again. Now, again, every Kevin Durant big three dilapidates due to injury. And we're talking about Kyrie, Davis, and Durant now, okay? But on paper, it would look pretty good.
Well, they got to do something. They have to do something. Now, Durant's going to be, it's going to be the summer of Kevin Durant, as you know, because you can see Houston definitely going after. They've already been linked. They might
want them to. Mitch, I don't do the slow OKC build. Don't bundle and get a 38-year-old broke down dude. Don't do that.
Well, it's going to be interesting what Tillman Fertitta does after, if they get knocked out in the first round and they're scoring 85 points in a playoff game, I think you're going to sign up for some sort of a Kevin Durant move, right? I think that's – look, what's Pat Riley going to do in Miami? They've always been linked. I don't know if they have enough assets, but listen, he's going to be a guy out there who teams are going to want. Here's what I think about Dallas, too, in terms of ownership. And you're going to say I'm nuts. But the Adelsons, and Dumont is in the Adelson group that own the team. Mark Cuban sold to him. They're based in Las Vegas. Now, we all know Las Vegas is supposed to get a team. I think LeBron James wants that team. But if they don't get the gambling thing passed here in Texas, and that's still a major hurdle, because people here are totally against it, especially a lot of politicians. I can see, I'm thinking of a scenario, just think of this. It gets so bad. They've, according to Tim McMahon of ESPN, they lost $100 million in terms of, season ticket resale, corporate sponsorships, all this stuff.
Wow.
Maybe if the gambling never gets passed here, which is why the Adelsons bought the team, to build themselves a new arena, get some gambling casinos in there, right? Get some other retail shops, have a little mini city all built around the Mavs and gambling. If they never get that passed, maybe Adam Silver says, you know what? We'll have you switch. You go back to Las Vegas. We'll have the new ownership group who was supposed to have Vegas take over the Mavericks. Who's to say that can't happen? A little flip there in terms of ownership. Because I'll tell you, you're laughing at me in terms of how irate people are, the fan base here. Just go on social media after the Nico press conference today. The guy is just getting hammered to the point where I'm almost wondering, do they need to fire him just to get him out of here to start kind of fresh? But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. This ownership stuff is so important. Everybody knows you've got to have a great owner who spends, is willing to pay the tax, who's willing to not meddle, get out of the way, leave it up to the basketball people, sign the checks, make the important decisions, question things, do things like Mickey Harrison has done, Joe Lacob has done, Mickey Harrison in Miami, Joe Lacob in Golden State, the Holtz in San Antonio. Those type of ownership groups are successful because they stay out of it when it comes to meddling with the personnel, but they make the big important decisions financially. And that's what we got to see. I mean, Matt Ishbia is catching a lot of flack. He has spent a lot of money. I got to give him that. He's done some other things wrong. But the big decision now for him is, what are they going to do with Kevin Durant?
They're going to trade him. Where they trade him is the big question here. It is the great Mitch Lawrence hanging out with Rick Kamla. Joe Lacob is my favorite owner. I don't know about all time, but right now, and I know Mickey Harrison's going into the Hall of Fame. You know Mickey. I know
Sure.
Mickey. Awesome guy.
Yep.
My favorite thing about Mickey Harrison's the permagrin.
The what?
He's the permagrin. He's always got boom. Like, they say resting like bleep face or whatever.
Yeah,
He's got resting permagrin face. And I love it. I would too. He's a billionaire. He's in Miami. And all this. But I think Joe Lacob is going to be a Hall of Famer out in the future as well as an
my
owner.
only thing about Mickey, my only thing is that 100 years ago, when they first started out, they hosted one of the great all-star games in the history of all-star weekends. Now, his father, Ted Harrison, was still alive running the team. Mickey was up and coming, learning the ropes from his dad. They haven't been back since like 1989 or 1988. where they had the All-Star game because Mickey's tied into that big, huge international boat show, which is always on All-Star weekend. And because he obviously ran at one point, they own Carnival Cruise Lines. And so the Harrisons are big boat people. And my one thing, and I've always whenever I saw Mickey, I'd say, when are we going back for All-Star weekend? You guys have the greatest party. He can never put the All-Star game above the boat show. That's my only problem with Mickey. And it's not a big one for the general fandom. I think as an owner, though, I mean, man, look at the job they've done in Miami year after year after year with Pat Riley. It's been phenomenal.
Phenomenal. 3 rings, man. It's been a great run and maybe more to come. Not this year. But, Mitch, I want to ask you about I think the best series going right now is Denver and the Clippers. I saw it going 7 coming in. I had Denver only because of the baked-in, presumed, wait for it, James Harden choke job in games 5, 6, and 7. And, like we've talked on NBA radio all those years, he doesn't choke in games 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's late in the series when he really chokes it up. Yeah. But talk to me about that series. How are you feeling about it going in? How are you feeling about it right now?
Well, going in, I picked the Clippers. I thought the Clippers this year, and when you pick the Clippers, you're picking Kawhi. Besides James Harden, you're picking Kawhi to actually last the series. The way they have improved defensively under our guy, Jeff Van Gundy. I mean, defensively, in all kinds of analytics, all kinds of stats, they've improved so much at the defensive end. I liked it from that standpoint, but here was my concern about Denver. I like Mike Malone. I knew Mike Malone as a kid. When he was a kid running around when his father was an assistant at Syracuse, when I first started out in the business around 1980, 81, Brendan Malone, his father. And for the life of me, the firing of Mike Malone, when it happened, along with Calvin Booth, was perplexing from the standpoint of timing. Because now you're basically saying, if you're Josh Kroenke, the president, and Stan Kroenke is the big guy there, obviously in Denver, they've had a great run. But you're saying, Rick, that we think that David Adelman can do a better job than Mike Malone. To me, that's hard to fathom. When Mike Malone won you a title a few years ago, he has seen significant loss of talent leave since then. And David Adelman hasn't coached a game, a playoff game. So it's like, wow, is it that bad for you with Mike Malone? So I had to pick the Clippers, Ty Lue, Jeff Van Gundy, Kawhi Leonard playing the last 30 games like an MVP. Now, he had a terrible game 1. 7 turnovers. It seemed like he made some impact in some areas, but it seemed like he had to get his playoff legs. He needed a game to get his playoff legs. He hasn't played a full playoff series in like 3 or 4 years since the first round against the Mavericks when they won in 7 in like 2021, was it? Back then, he's missed a series. He's been out. But the way he's played, the way their defense is, the coaching, even with the Denver having the home court, I thought the Clippers could win it. And I'll tell you what, they lost a big opportunity to steal a game with that game 1 loss. You mentioned a lot of great plays by Westbrook down the stretch. The defense, the Clippers had their shots. I mean, really, they had their shots. So they have a great home court advantage with that new arena from what I'm told. I haven't been out there. I think they can take this series still. Now, it's going to be harder, obviously, when you drop a game in Denver. But you're right. It is the best first-round series. It really is. And I'll tell you what, if Kawhi Leonard can hold up this series and they march on, and it's Oklahoma City that's standing there, that's going to be a war. That's going to be a battle. Indeed.
Look ahead to game 2 tonight, Mitch. And you said something that I think is really important, and it's in my brain as well. That was the Clippers game. They had the big lead early, and I know it's a 15-point lead. It's not like, but it's a lead. You were playing well. You go to overtime. You had a bunch of guys playing well, on the court and in the box score. And so what's going to happen in game 2? You can't just pick up where you left off. You have to start a brand new journey of 48 in that next game. And there's no 2-day off here. There's 1 day off. I mean, you do get rest, but it's a little bit of a quick turnaround. And you're at Denver. Mitch, I don't know if you've seen this. The Clippers are favored tonight by 1 point. Denver's a home dog. I don't really understand. And it was like a 1 point spread. I think Denver was -1 going into game one. But like, I don't, maybe I'm wrong here, but and I'm not saying Denver's going to blow them out or anything. I just feel like the Clippers missed an opportunity. And I feel like now might be that seize moment by Denver. How do you view it?
I view it this way. I view it that they're favored because I think people are looking at Denver's maybe taking the foot off the gas pedal a little tonight, and the Clippers having a lot of veteran guys, having veteran playoff coaches and leaders. And as you know, when you lose a game like that, it's almost now like you got to win 5 games in the series. That's your mentality. But I think they're going to overcome that mental hurdle. A younger team, a more inexperienced team might carry over that disappointment into game 2 and let it alter their play. I think the Clippers are going to look at it like, we had so many turnovers. We had so many chances. That was our game. We can beat this team on their home floor. I think that's the way they're going to look at it. And we'll see how Denver does. Because, you know, Mike Malone would be preaching exactly what I said to his team, telling them, hey, you guys won. We were lucky in a lot of ways. Okay, we helped create all these turnovers and stuff, but that's a game that other team thinks they should have won. And now they're going to come back and even make a stronger effort to steal away home court in game 2. So listen, it's a great series. It's a toss-up series in a lot of ways. I wouldn't be surprised if Denver won it, but I will be surprised if this thing ends in less than 6 games. This is 6-7 games totally to me, and a great series.
Yeah, I agree with all that. Mitch, I can't thank you enough, man. I'll have you on again here over the 2-month run for the playoffs. I don't know. I needed some Mitch Lawrence, man. I did. And so this has been a blast. I miss you, my brother, my dear friend. And it's just been cool to hang out with you for a little while.
The one thing we know about the playoffs is it's long. So you're gonna need me at some point.
Mitch, you're my guy. You're my guy. Do you have anything you want to promote? Anything going on? Now you let them know.
I have nothing to promote. I'll promote my next appearance with you. Stay tuned for that, everybody. I enjoyed it. You're the best. Good luck to you. You look great. You sound great, as always. Knock them dead, and let's enjoy the playoffs, right?
Thank you, Mitch. I appreciate it, man. I'll be in touch, all right?
All right. Very good. Take care.
Take it easy, man. The great Mitch Lawrence. Mitch_Lawrence, and spelled like you think, LAWRENCE. That's my guy right there, Mitch Lawrence. Big thanks to him for popping on. All right, let's get back into our rundown here. Where did we leave off? I think we got through the core 4. All right, Kammy of the week. It's a little bit blended and merged, but you're gonna like it. The Kammy of the week, folks, goes to Tyrese Haliburton and Damian Lillard. If you guys know one thing about me, it's that I love the spicy stuff. I love trash talking. I love altercations. You know, I don't need guys punching each other out. But altercations like, you know, they all come together and they're pushing and shoving and they've got shirts grabbed. I love that stuff. I mean, it cranks me up, dude. And so seeing Damian Lillard and Tyrese Haliburton, who have a history, talking trash to each other, and Dame's in street clothes, God bless him, he's going to come back and play here soon. And Haliburton and Indiana were working Milwaukee in game 1. That is what it's all about. No. Not today. Not on my watch. And whether you're wrong, right, you're standing your ground and you're in the fight. Okay, this is the playoffs here, man. I love it. It's old school. Tell them what's up. And when they tell you what's up, tell them what's up. Don't back down, but then go out and back it up. So I love Haliburton for bringing the fight to Damian Lillard. I love Dame for not having it and talking back. And the Bucks and the Pacers, as we all know, don't like each other. All right. So you're talking about a rivalry is birthed here. They played in the in-season tournament last year. It got spicy. I'll tell you in a moment. their series last year. Remember the Giannis 60-point game and the ball snafu. Where's the game ball? Where's the game ball? He goes flying into the Pacers locker room and all stuff. Like, this is the good stuff, man. And it's not as good of a playoff series as Denver and the Clippers, but it has the potential to be a really good playoff series. So Tyrese Haliburton, where this all started, Tyrese Haliburton used the Dame time celebration after hitting a huge three ball, a silencer, a game over, a night three ball in the 2023 NBA Cup semifinal against the Bucks. And you remember then the Pacers went on to lose to the LA Lakers. And then the Lakers whacked Darvin Ham like 2 weeks later. Like, that's how that all went down. But so again, that's why I said I love Haliburton for bringing the fight to Dame. He did the Dame time gesture. Oh my God, what is he thinking? Like, what is he thinking? That's Dame's thing. And you just beat Dame with a killer three ball, Dame style, and you hit him with that. Dame's never, ever going to forget that. He's always going to be pissed about that. You could get 20 years from now, Damian Lillard and Tyrese Haliburton on a podcast, okay? And they're like maybe Udonis Haslem's podcast or something. And he's still going to be pissed about that. I'm telling you right now. So the question now is, when is Damian Lillard going to play? Okay, because the Bucks got cooked. And I'm gonna sink my teeth into Kyle Kuzma here in just a minute. ESPN reports that Damian Lillard is expected to return in Game 2 or Game 3. Okay. Of course, he was diagnosed with the blood clots in his right calf over 3 weeks ago, made an unprecedented recovery, cleared of deep vein thrombosis, and stopped blood thinning medication last Thursday. And deep vein thrombosis is an abnormal clot within a vessel. And so that has cleared up. Lillard, if you're on blood thinners, you can't take contact, okay? So they took him off the blood thinners. He participated in his first practice on Thursday, so that same day, and then was expected to, spend a time ramping up and all this kind of stuff. Doctors have told Bucks officials that the speed of Lillard's recovery has never been seen before. God bless you, Dame. I freaking love Dame, man. So that's all like so cool, right? Here's my thing, though. Damian Lillard, look, I'm not a doctor. He's been cleared. What we know now, it's not about blood clotting and we're worried about longevity and stuff. It's about the ramp up, stamina, conditioning, wind, okay? It's time to go out there and play. If you win Game 1, okay, take your time. Then you lose, you get the split, you go back to Milwaukee. That's all good. You lost Game 1. And to me, now you got to bring back Dame. The Bucks were too casual about this with Giannis Antetokounmpo 2 years ago. Remember when Jimmy Butler, this is my house, all that kind of stuff? Remember, Jimmy Butler, wait, I'm getting confused here. Giannis had the back injury. Okay, so they held him out, I think, of 2 games, or maybe he left 1 game early. I was like, back injury? Dude, you got to be playing here. Because I think that was a 1-8, if memory serves. Didn't Miami get out of the play-in tournament and then wasn't it a 1-8? I don't have that in front of me right now. But it was a huge, I felt like Milwaukee thought they had Miami. And, we'll just rest Giannis a game or 2 here. We'll be fine. We'll still beat Miami. That was the vibe I got. And Miami went, boom, 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 bye, okay? And then coaches get fired and the whole thing, right? Don't be too casual with this. Don't say, we'll just take a game for granted. Yeah, we're down 0-2, but we'll head back to Milwaukee. We're still on serve, all this kind of bull crap, okay? Think about it. I'm not saying they couldn't do that, but if you fall into an 0-2 hole to an Indiana team that kind of sort of has your number anyway, all right, now you have to win 4 of 5 games to win the playoff series. Your odds go from here to there. Are you going to win 4 out of 5 against the Indiana Pacers, even with Damian Lillard? I would bet everything I own against that right now. Yeah, I would. I'm serious. Because I think the Pacers are a better basketball team. So to me, Dame's got to come back in Game 2. He does. If he doesn't, I'm not going to criticize him. I'm just letting you know how I feel they should approach this. Because if you don't have Dame, you are forfeiting a game. You are taking an L on whenever the game 2 is. You are taking an L if you don't play Damian Lillard. They're not beating the Pacers at the field house without Damian Lillard. So I love that he's back. I think it's an absolute miracle. And I want to hug him about it. But I'm saying we're talking basketball here, the blood and guts of the playoffs, and it's time for Dame to come back and play. Even if it's less minutes than normal, right? He's got to be out there stabilizing influence, banging threes. The spacing will all be normal with him back. All right, time for Rick's rant, guys. Kyle Kuzma. What the F was that, bro? Seriously, guys, it might have been the worst playoff game ever played. I'm not making this up. He had no points, no rebounds, no assists, no steals, no blocks in 22 minutes. He did not play 3 minutes and get hurt. Okay, he played 22 minutes. Zeros. He had a Tony Snell. Are you freaking serious? Real Sports reports, it's on the internet, so it's got to be true. Kyle Kuzma has the most minutes by a starter in a playoff game without recording a stat ever. I was kind of geeked about Kyle Kuzma going to the Bucks. Deadline day. John Horst, I'm not mad at you, bro. I'm not. You needed some firepower. You needed another forward. You know, the Middleton thing was running dry. All right, you go get Kuzma. Let's rescue him from Washington and bring him into a competitive situation. It has been a disaster with Kyle Kuzma. He's had a few big games. He's had a bunch of small games. And he just had the worst playoff game in league history. Okay, so, like, what's up? What's up with that? I mean, he will play better in game 2. There's nowhere to go but up here. But I'm like, I'll fall on the grenade here. I was wrong. I didn't think Kuzma was going to like charge the Bucks all the way to the conference finals. I never said anything like that. I just thought it was going to be a positive move for the team. It has not been. But John Horst, I'm not mad at you, bro, because I would have done the same exact thing. And I'm not one of these revisionist history asshats that will say something 2 months ago and then completely forget about it and say something different 2 months later. I remember what I said. It's called take integrity. I got that from Nick Wright, by the way. I love that line. Take integrity. I've got a second portion of Rick's rant here. Do we have a Michael Porter Jr. problem brewing in Denver? If I'm asking, the answer is yes. All right. David Adelman chose to keep Russell Westbrook on the floor in the late stages of game 1. It worked. They won. Even though, Michael Porter, big part of the team, max contract. He's the, like the long lost sibling of the Kroenke family based on reports. So after the game, David Adelman spoke about the decision to bench Michael Porter Jr. He said that he communicated with Porter during the game, explaining his thoughts on the situation and how Porter could regain his place on the court. Adelman emphasized the players must be engaged and perform well to earn playing time. How about the young fella? How about the interim throwing it down like that? I kind of like it. I do. Michael Malone should still have this job. He would be holding these guys just as accountable, but I do like it. You know why? Adelman's coaching his team. And I know it's not his team yet, right? Well, I tell you what, if you lose in the first round, you are 1,000% getting fired as the interim coach. If you win round 1 and maybe even win round 2, you're probably going to get the job, okay? So coach your team. Go down swinging. I love it. I thought that was a great move by David Adelman. By the way, they're undefeated with him. I got to say that. They're 4-0. I think the move is just stupidity, firing Michael Malone. You can fire Calvin Booth. Whack him. Don't whack Michael Malone. God bless you, Calvin Booth. I'm just saying. I think Malone was more important to that program than you were. Just one man's opinion. Adelman clarified that he was not trying to punish Porter. See, when you say that, though, it comes off that way. But he wanted to reward the players who were playing well. The bottom line is, this is the playoffs, man. This is blood, guts, life, death. If you are not kicking ass and taking names, I got to pull you off the floor. And you got Russell Westbrook out there. Okay. And you got Michael Porter Jr. out there. Like, he's real laid back, real chill and stuff like that. Let's get it going here. A little caffeine, a little Red Bull, something. I don't know. Nikola Jokic said what he can do to help Michael Porter Jr. stay engaged. Quote, if you're not going to be engaged right now, then you're not supposed to be playing this sport. Oh, shots fired. Whoa. I like it. I like it. Let's fire him up. I like the leadership from Jokic. You know, we call him the Joker. He's got jokes and all this kind of stuff. Very humble, very aw shucks. But I like that. Hey, man, you ain't bringing it, you ain't playing. So so think about it. What can you do to, I mean, I just don't like the question. What can you do to help Michael Porter Jr. stay engaged? Nikola Jokic literally quarterbacks every single possession. Passes the ball to Michael. What is he? So if you're Jokic, you're like, bro, am I not carrying enough weight around here? I've got to fire up Michael Porter Jr. Coaches' jobs is not to fire up players. Players have to, this is playoffs. If you're not fired up right now, check your pulse, bro. It might be time to check into a hospital, okay? And if you're Michael Porter Jr., it is not time to sulk. It is time to do whatever it takes to win, even if that means being a positive, impact on the bench and cheering on your guys and waving a damn towel from time to time. But I love what Adelman did here. Coach your team. All right, time for the MVO, the most valuable other. And I got to bring in Shaquille O'Neal for this. Shaq, come on in here.
Kamla Juice, what's up?
What's up, Shaq?
Not much. You're having a great show so far.
Thank you, Shaq. I really appreciate that. Did you like the Mitch Lawrence interview?
I thought Mitch Lawrence was great. I thought it was great. I didn't agree with everything you said, but I thought it was great. Kamla, I did agree with everything that you said.
All right, Shaq. So who was the most valuable other from the weekend that we just saw? And we got a lot of guys here. You got Russell Westbrook. Campaign had a big game for the Knicks. Derek White had 30. Jaden McDaniels had 25. Ty Jerome had 28 yesterday. And then you had Russell Westbrook with 15, 8, and 3, 2 steals, the big defensive play. Shaq, who was the MVO from the opening weekend?
Kamla Juice, it was Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook gets slammed, gets banged on. Nobody likes him, it seems. But Little Rage is out there doing his thing. It's not about the numbers. It's about the impact. It's about the force. You can't win rings without the others, Kamla. You know this. That's why we're doing this segment. So I loved what Russell Westbrook did out there. He brought the noise. He sent Michael Porter Jr. to the bench. I loved what Adelman did coaching. I agree with you there, Cam. And I thought Russell Westbrook got the MVO from the opening weekend. Shaquille O'Neal, thank you very much. Guys, I agree with Shaq. It is 1-1 here. It is Russell Westbrook. If David Adelman does not make that coaching move, and if Russell Westbrook does not do what he did, made a layup at 3:37 of the fourth to take a 1-point lead, made a layup at 2:52 of the fourth to take a 1-point lead, made a 3-ball, 24 seconds left to go from down 1 to up 2, and then had the big defensive deflection late in overtime to knock the ball off the hand of James Harden. First player in the play-by-play era since 1997 to have 3 made shots in the final 4 minutes of a playoff fourth quarter that took his team from trailing to leading. Hold on a second. First player since 97 to make 3 shots in the final 4 minutes of a playoff fourth quarter that took his team from trailing to leading. I find it hard to believe that that's true. But again, I got it on the internet. It's got to be true. Shaq, is that true, do you think? Kamla, probably not. Not everything's true on the internet. You're better than that. Stop being gullible.
All right, Shaq, good point, man. But anyway, that's the stat. I got it off a Twitter feed. But anyway, you understand that Russell Westbrook had a huge impact on that basketball game, and he gets the MVO for the opening weekend. I'm going to keep track of this, and me and Shaq are going to hit you with an MVO of the entire playoffs because we're going to do 8 of these, okay? So a shout out before we get out here. I want to shout out the great Greg Popovich, the San Antonio Spurs head coach, reportedly experienced a medical incident at a restaurant Tuesday. He's home now, stable, and recovering. According to reports, the San Antonio Express News, he was eating at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and he fainted on Tuesday night, transported to a local hospital in an ambulance with a non-life-threatening illness or injury as a precaution. Further specifics are not known right now. I don't know what happened to Pop. And so I just want to send him love right now. Pop, we love you. We just want you to be healthy. We want you to be happy. And I just wanted to send out some love to the great Greg Popovich here as we continue on. All right, guys, I will be back here next Monday with the Sports Ethos NBA show with Rick Kamla at 11 a.m. Eastern time, reacting to these playoffs, which are so much fun. And really appreciate you guys. Go over to sportsethos.com, get a membership, subscribe to our work, download the Sports Ethos app. It's at your favorite app store. It's completely free. Please subscribe to the Fantasy NBA Today podcast feed. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sports Ethos. We appreciate you on all fronts. Big thanks to Mitch Lawrence for dropping by. Big thanks to my buddy The greatest producer on earth, although he says he's not a producer, but he is, and he's really, really good at it, Andre Lemus. I am Rick Kamla. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the playoffs, everybody. And this episode's been brought to you by Bet Online.